His first day as a janitor at the psych ward, he was instantly captivated by a barefoot girl with the purest eyes he'd ever seen. But before he could even say hello, a nurse told him she was a patient there for treatment. He had no choice but to turn away, disappointed. What he never could have imagined was that this girl would completely change the course of his life. That evening, after his shift ended, Jay happened to walk past one of the patient rooms and heard a girl screaming for help inside. He didn't hesitate. He burst through the door and found an orderly assaulting her. Blind with rage, Jay charged in and pinned the man to the ground. But the girl was so terrified she kept apologizing over and over.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't mean to cause any trouble.
You didn't do anything wrong. The guy's a freak. He was gonna hurt you.
You're the mopping man.
Yeah, I'm Jay. Be careful.
After calming her down, Jay hurried out of the hospital. But the girl lingered in that rare feeling of warmth, unable to shake it. So shortly after Jay left, she quietly followed him out.
I'm coming with you.
What? You can't leave your patient.
I don't like it here.
Jay had no intention of dragging along some burden, but after a brief exchange, he realized she didn't act like a typical psychiatric patient at all. So he asked her why she wasn't wearing any shoes.
They hurt my feet.
Jay sighed to himself. Okay, maybe he'd been overthinking this. He quickly told her she needed to go back to the hospital right away. But suddenly, her breathing grew rapid, and she became visibly distressed. Panicked, Jay tried to calm her down. He gave her some money for a ride home, then turned to leave. But he only made it a few steps before he stopped. Looking back at that face so full of hope, yet so utterly lost, his heart gave in. He just couldn't abandon her like that. So he decided to contact her family first, only to discover she had no one, no family at all. And just as he was trying to figure out what to do, a bold idea flashed through his mind. Wasn't she basically a ready-made girlfriend? You see, Jay used to be your classic playboy, and a rich kid from a powerful family, no less. But because of his reckless, lavish lifestyle, his father had finally had enough. He froze all of Jay's accounts, and kicked him out to learn what real life was like. Did Jay turn over a new leaf? Not even close. Instead, he racked up a mountain of debt. And when creditors came knocking, he didn't just ignore them. He actually punched one of them. That landed him in a police station. And from there, he was assigned to work as a janitor at the psychiatric hospital. Desperate to get out of this mess and pay off his debts, Jay decided to ask his father for help. He used his younger brother's upcoming wedding as an excuse to come home. But his father had one condition. He must bring a girlfriend. And now, here was this beautiful girl standing right in front of him. Someone he could bring home to deal with his demanding father. Sure, Daisy's mental state was a bit concerning, but Jay figured if she just kept quiet, they could probably pull it off. What he didn't anticipate was that Daisy, who had never been on a plane before, would cause quite a scene during the flight. When she went to the bathroom, she couldn't figure out how the toilet worked, and accidentally locked herself in. Then, while Jay was napping, she snuck into first class and helped herself to someone else's food. A flight attendant noticed her strange behavior.
What's wrong with her?
Excuse me, there's nothing wrong with my girlfriend. Thank you.
And Daisy, meanwhile, was soaking in this feeling of being cared for. Back in her seat, she couldn't help asking Jay about the sweet words he just said.
You called me your girlfriend. Am I really your girlfriend?
Yeah, you're my girlfriend.
Even though Jay's answer was pretty half-hearted, Daisy's innocent heart was still overflowing with joy, because her mother had always told her that no one would ever want a girlfriend like her. After a bumpy journey, they finally arrived. Daisy stared at the enormous mansion before her, fear creeping in. Jay whispered to her, just don't talk too much, and you'll be fine. When they walked inside, Jay's mother greeted them with overwhelming warmth, partly because her son had been gone so long, and partly because this was his first time bringing a girl home. But Daisy's bare feet left his mother confused. Luckily, Jay was quick on his feet and smoothly changed the subject, successfully redirecting his mother's attention. And Daisy, with that sweet, charming face of hers, completely won his mother over. Even Jay's father took a liking to her, so much so that he didn't even notice she wasn't wearing shoes. As evening fell, the family sat down for dinner. Jay cut straight to the chase and told his parents what he wanted. He lied about holding an important position at a hospital, and claimed he needed investment for a new project. But his father saw right through him, and bluntly called him out. All he really wanted was money. Jay was completely speechless. The whole room went tense and awkward. And that's when Daisy bravely stepped in.
He actually does have a plan, Jason. And it's a very good one. We just can't talk about it right now.
You're a part of this?
Yes.
Well, and let's talk about it later.
Yes, let's.
Daisy's words were like a gentle breeze that diffused the storm brewing between father and son. Jay couldn't help but see her in a whole new light. After dinner, Jay thoughtfully walked Daisy back to her room. And in that moment, he truly looked at this extraordinary girl for the first time.
You did great, by the way. Everyone really liked you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Right then, Jay realized there was something about this girl, a light that shone differently from anyone else, and that unique light quietly planted a seed of something deeper in his heart. After saying goodnight to Daisy, Jay went to see his father. Although his father still had his doubts about his business venture, Jay talked his way through it with that silver tongue of his. His father finally agreed. Once the brothers' wedding was over, he would wire the money to his account. But the very next morning, his mother rushed in to wake Jay, telling him Daisy was acting strangely. She was actually cleaning the house's bathroom. Jay found Daisy right away, looking more puzzled than ever. ever. He asked her why she was doing this.
My mother said that this is how you earn love.
I thought you didn't have any family. What?
My mother is dead. Because I killed her.
Jay stared at Daisy in disbelief. How could such a pure, innocent girl have done something like that? But when he searched her eyes, there wasn't a single trace of dishonesty. Even as his brother's wedding was about to begin, Jay still couldn't shake his unsettled feelings. But the very next second, Daisy appeared and instantly captivated his gaze. Her golden dress glowed like the morning sun, soft and radiant. Her delicate makeup glistened like crystal dewdrops. In that moment, Jay's heart was truly moved by her breathtaking beauty. It washed over him like a warm current, melting something deep inside. The ceremony began. A little flower girl was scattering petals for the newlyweds, but Daisy suddenly stood up. With everyone watching in stunned silence, she picked up the petals from the ground one by one.
You're dropping them.
That's the point?
Jay noticed immediately. He rushed over, gently guided Daisy back to her seat, and patiently explained the etiquette and customs of a wedding. But her unusual behavior had also caught his father's eye. During the evening reception, when Jay stepped away for a moment, his father gracefully approached Daisy and asked her for a dance. As they moved across the floor, he began probing gently but pointedly about the details of their romance, and what Jay was really up to these days. Every question cut like a sharp blade, making Daisy feel like it was getting harder to breathe.
Can't talk anymore.
Daisy, who are you?
By the time Daisy collapsed to the floor, Jay rushed over and pulled her away, but his father was right behind them, refusing to let it go.
Who is she, Jay? It's not what you think, Dad. Leave it alone. It's obviously much worse than I think.
Honey, what is it?
I'm a janitor in a mental hospital. It's part of my probation.
She's a patient.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. You okay?
This belongs to you. You keep it, honey.
Keep it. I gave that necklace to you.
Jason, I want her to have it.
But I gave it to you. It was an anniversary gift. Why don't you give it alone?
It doesn't matter.
Leave it
Dad,
alone.
doesn't matter.
Leave it alone, Dad.
It
Dad,
doesn't
leave it alone.
matter.
Take it, Mom. Here, take it.
The truth is always cruel. It's like a sharp knife that slashes through beautiful illusions, forcing you to face harsh reality. Once Jay and Daisy's charade was exposed, their future was left with only one path, going their separate ways. Jay then stole his father's prized vintage RV and hit the road. Along the way, Daisy acted like she'd entered a whole new world, marveling at every little detail inside the vehicle, with wide-eyed curiosity. To her, this experience was like a grand adventure and journey. But amidst this innocent joy and anticipation, Jay's heart was filled with anxiety and dread. He had already been assigned as a hospital janitor for his past mistakes. If he was now charged with abducting a mentally ill girl, he would absolutely end up in prison. After careful deliberation, Jay brought Daisy to a public bus station. Handing her some money, he told her softly that he needed to step away to make a phone call, and to wait right here. Although Daisy sensed the hidden meaning in his words, she chose to believe him, firmly believing he wouldn't abandon her. And so Daisy waited quietly, her heart full of trust and hope for Jay, while Jay chose to simply drive away. As for Daisy, she waited until the bills in her hand were crumpled into a tight ball. She waited as strangers cast strange looks her way. She waited as the cold night wind bit at her bare feet, still utterly alone, still waiting for Jay. When a station attendant came over to check on her, she even forced the smallest of smiles.
My boyfriend is just making a phone call. It shouldn't be long.
Okay, I'll be right over there. If you need any help, let me know, okay?
Meanwhile, on the other side, Jay received a call from the hospital director. From the director, he learned of what Daisy had been through. Daisy had been locked inside by her mother since childhood. She lacked basic social and communication skills. Before things get worse, you need to bring her back immediately. After hanging up the phone, Jay was overwhelmed with deep regret and guilt. Looking at the pair of shoes Daisy had left behind in the car, he could almost see her innocent smile flashing before his eyes.
God damn it!
Looking at the clock behind her, Daisy's heart sank into lonely sadness. It seemed Jay really wasn't coming back, so she walked on the cold tile floor with her bare feet, choking back tears as she asked the front desk to help her get home. But right at that moment, Jay suddenly appeared behind her.
You cut me open and
No more phone calls?
No. No more phone calls.
During the journey that followed, the two were like a couple on their honeymoon. They would walk hand in hand as the sun set. Jay would give her some money and let her go wild in the supermarket. Even though Daisy kept causing trouble along the way, Jay never once truly blamed her. Just like that, they cruised down the wide open road in the RV. It wasn't until nightfall that Jay finally pulled the car over. Daisy opened up about her past. Ever since she was born, her mother had kept her locked inside the house. She wasn't allowed to go to school or step outside. Daisy's only window to the outside world was the television in their home. Jay slowly began to realize maybe the one with the problem was never Daisy, but the mother who had imprisoned her. In that moment, Jay seemed to understand the true reasons behind her puzzling, bizarre behaviors. The next morning, their escape journey continued, but everything seemed to have changed. There was a new sweetness between them. He would watch her play with a tender, adoring gaze, and join her on the slide she'd never gotten to ride as a child. They shared snacks together, and rode the Ferris wheel together. It was as if, right there in that amusement park, she had reclaimed her missing childhood. This was the happiest day of Daisy's life, and when someone is truly happy, tears just naturally fall. Daisy was growing with Jay by her side, and through Daisy, Jay rediscovered the most genuine, beautiful side of humanity. But just as they were lost in the bliss of each other's company, a crisis was quietly closing in. The news of a janitor abducting a psychiatric patient had blown up everywhere. The police had launched a full manhunt for the two. However, a real-life getaway isn't exactly filled with fast and furious action like in the movies. Jay crashed through quite a few barricades, while Daisy provided live commentary from the back.
Hey, I think that police officer's following us.
Yeah, thank you, I see that.
In Daisy's eyes, this was no different from an exciting game of tag. She even waved cheerfully at the police. Luckily, at a fork in the road, Jay floored the gas and managed to lose the cop car.
Yeah, we lost him.
That night, they parked on the side of the road to rest, but Jay had barely fallen asleep when Daisy suddenly shook him awake.
What? Hi.
You make funny noises when you sleep.
Really?
Like... And there's a cop outside.
What? Why didn't you wake me up?
I did right now, you're up.
The police had already quietly pulled up right behind them. Jay immediately hid inside a cabinet. Then Daisy calmly opened the door and told the officers her boyfriend had run off into the woods. But the police weren't buying it. They had Daisy step out of the vehicle, then climbed aboard to search for Jay. Fortunately, the officer didn't open the cabinet door. Eventually, the police believed Daisy's story and headed into the trees to look for Jay. Taking advantage of the moment, Daisy dashed to the police car, quickly yanked out the keys, and tossed them into the tall grass. When Jay learned what Daisy had done, he couldn't help but praise her cleverness. How could a supposedly mentally ill girl pull off something like that? Guided by the faint morning light, they pressed on. Even though they didn't know when fate would end this journey, as long as they were still together, still holding each other's hands, happiness and beauty wrapped completely around them. Late that night, they met some travelers who had built a campfire by the road, so they joined in on their outdoor gathering.
She's such an angel.
When she's asleep, yeah. The moment she wakes up, she's the devil.
You'll have one someday, you'll see.
Time in that moment was so peaceful and beautiful. Gradually, Daisy began to rely on Jay more and more, because he was the first person to ever make her feel protected. And Jay, when facing Daisy, was also quietly transforming without even realizing it. He was no longer that spoiled, selfish version of himself, but because of his debts and abducting a girl while on probation, Jay didn't know how much longer he could stay by Daisy's side. Any day now, he could be ruthlessly taken away by the police. So he wanted Daisy to learn how to drive herself, but Daisy was filled with anxiety over this. Just then, Jay's phone suddenly rang. It was the director of the psychiatric hospital calling. He demanded that Jay bring Daisy back as soon as possible, or else he would face serious charges. Left with no choice, Jay reluctantly agreed to take her back. However, Daisy accidentally overheard this conversation. In an instant, fear crashed over her heart like a tidal wave. She was terrified of being locked back into a hospital with zero freedom, and even more terrified of being separated from Jay forever. In a blind panic, Daisy bolted out the door, and using the exact steps Jay had just taught her, she started the RV. Tears poured down her face like a broken dam, watching Jay sprint alongside the vehicle in a desperate chase. Her emotions completely shattered.
Break for slow! Yes, I did! Of course I did!
Because it was her first time behind the wheel, combined with her spiraling emotions, the vehicle kept driving in circles around the parking lot, until it finally crashed into a shipping container ahead. Only then did the car come to a stop. Thankfully, she wasn't going very fast, so she wasn't injured. Afterwards, they made their way to a diner.
Can I ask you something? Did you kill your mother?
One night, she just screamed and I didn't go to her. And when I woke up in the morning, she was dead.
The truth was, the one with mental issues was never Daisy. It was only because she hadn't been able to save her mother in time that Daisy blamed herself for her mother's death, and merely because she lacked basic life skills. Her behavior and her bare feet were seen by others as disturbed and sick, but the reality was, she had never hurt a single soul. Jay then told her that he had never actually planned to send her back to the hospital, because by now, he had already fallen deeply in love with her. However, police cars had silently pulled up outside, yet neither of them paid any attention. They only wanted to hold on to these final moments, to be with each other. In the last second before the police closed in, Jay gave her a tender, lingering kiss. It was probably the only kiss in his entire life that was truly about love. As a single tear rolled down Daisy's cheek, the police arrived right beside them. Jay was detained on charges of abducting a mentally ill girl, while Daisy would be sent back to the psychiatric hospital. In the final moment before they were pulled apart, they looked into each other's eyes, as if speaking a silent language, pouring out their endless longing and reluctance to let go. Just like that, Jay was locked up in prison, desperate to save her son. Jay's mother begged her husband to step in and help him, but his father was extremely reluctant. Finally, his mother could hold it in no longer and said,
Jason, there was a time when you were as reckless as he is. And who bailed you out? Your father.
"You can fall 1,000 times, but a parent's open arms will always be your parachute on the 1,001st. Finally, when Jay turned around, the figures of his parents appeared right in front of him. From this moment on, all the bitterness between father and son simply melted away. After being released from prison, Jay also received $1 million check from his father. But the first thing he wanted to do wasn't to blow the money, but rather to get Daisy out of that psychiatric hospital. But when he rushed to the hospital, he was coldly turned away by the director and security. Meanwhile, on the other side, when Daisy heard that Jay had come looking for her, she couldn't sit still any longer. She tried to get out, but was ruthlessly blocked by the nurses.
It's all right. You just need to calm down.
No, I'm not having an attack. I just want to see my boyfriend.
At the same time, after being rejected by the director, Jay came up with another crazy idea. He first went to a train station platform, pretended to be mentally ill, and laid straight down on the train tracks. His extreme behavior ultimately paid off, and he was successfully sent to the psychiatric hospital for evaluation. But the second the director laid eyes on him, the entire act was instantly busted. The director flat out denied his admission request, but Jay wasn't planning on giving up. He even went directly to tell him the truth about how Daisy's mother had died. Hearing this, the director was quite stunned, but how could he just trust the word of a patient? Still, he later conducted a deep background check on Daisy's mother, and found that she did indeed suffer from schizophrenia, along with incredibly severe delusions. However, this didn't prove that Daisy was free from the same illness, so the director sought out Daisy once more. He didn't bring up her condition directly, but instead asked,
You like Mr. Wheeler?
I don't like him. I love him.
Have you ever been in love before, Daisy?
The director believed that since Daisy had never even been in a relationship, how could she possibly understand love? But surprisingly, Daisy turned the question right back at him.
Have you ever been in love?
I was married. And we're divorced now.
You still love her. When it happens, you know it's not anything else.
Every word Daisy spoke hit the mark, striking like a bell and resonating deep within the director's heart. Perhaps she understood things far more clearly than he did. Because of this conversation, the director agreed to release her from the hospital. After all, no true psychiatric patient could possess such profound understanding. Before leaving, she first went to the director's office to say goodbye. Then she walked right out of the ward, completely barefoot, and on the other side of the building, she finally saw the figure she'd been dreaming of all this time.
That I keep on closing. You cut me open and
Under Jay's protection, Daisy learned how to interact normally with others, and Jay, through Daisy's pure heart, rediscovered his own worth and sense of responsibility. He was no longer that cynical, reckless playboy, but had grown into someone who was responsible and knew how to give love.
What's the matter?
You're standing on my toes.
When Daisy walked out of that hospital barefoot, she wasn't just shattering her mother's lies, she was challenging the world's narrow definition of normal. Perhaps the only way is to strip away the masks and chains, and let your barest soul touch the earth, to truly feel life's most primal pulse. Or perhaps you were never meant to wear the shoes someone else gave you. Your bare feet were always the most beautiful way to measure this world.